Let me tell you something, the transition from being a top salesperson to being a business owner is not one for the faint of heart. I mean, honestly, that was harder than going through 08, 09. Yeah, my biggest struggles in the real estate industry are pretty simple. Starting out, just those limiting beliefs because I was so young and didn't have the experience. So overcoming that and understanding that I was a really, really good salesperson who was very driven, and unleashing that was like step one. Of course, I rode the wave with the real estate crash of 08 and 09, which put so many people out of the real estate industry, and I was fortunate enough to be able to survive that moment in time. I was willing to do what it took, and I think that's what most successful people have, that candidly most people that don't have that level of success have, is successful people are willing to do what it takes. I took a job with a company called ZipFizz Energy Drinks back in 09 so I could pay my bills. And I was going to Sam's Clubs and Costco's and setting up a sample table, giving out samples and getting people to buy ZipFizz Energy Drinks, which, believe it or not, back then, I mean, I was making like $20 an hour in 09 when we were in a terrible recession, which is pretty darn good. So I was able to, augment my real estate income with a part-time job 2 or 3 days a week. And, most people just aren't willing to do things like that. You fast forward to building a real estate team. Oh my goodness. Like, I was such an education junkie from 2013 to 2015 that I basically had gotten a doctorate or PhD in real estate from all the education I did. And then it was unleashing it and taking academia and putting it into the real world. And let me tell you something, the transition from being a top salesperson to being a business owner is not one for the faint of heart. I mean, honestly, that was harder than going through 08, 09. I developed a line, it's just yo me a deal, like go make it up, right? It's like in sports, sometimes you're playing sports and you make a mistake. You don't make a play you should make, like a routine play. And you owe your team members a play. And I think that being a business owner, sometimes you just have to let your people know that when they make a mistake, they just owe you a play, and that's okay. And really finding the people that are willing to make mistakes but learn from it, because if you've got a business, a real estate team, and people are making mistakes and then they make the same mistake, like those are the people you don't want in your world. We want people in our business, in our world, that when they make a mistake, they're willing to adjust their behavior, adjust their systems, learn something new so that that exact same mistake does not happen again. They're actually learning from it. They're getting better. And that's the evolution that you see with Team Borham, because Team Borham is so much better today than it was in 2016 or 17, because I've made all the mistakes. I've had team members make all the mistakes. And that's the challenge now, is just utilizing all of that knowledge and making sure that the team operates like it's been there before, whether we have new employees, new agents or not. We don't need to go through the same cycle over and over again. So now it's finding people that are willing to learn from experience versus necessarily having to learn from making the mistake themselves. And that's a big challenge too. Yeah, knowing who to hire is a really difficult question. I would say for salespeople, of course, we're looking for competitiveness. I love people that played sports or former law enforcement, former military, obviously track record of success in sales. If they're coming from sales, were they good at it? Were they door-to-door, cold calling, building databases? Like, does the skill set that they have translate to real estate? And what's funny is you're also seeing on the other end of the spectrum, like teachers a lot of times become good realtors because they're so structured. And if you're able to wrangle a bunch of kids, 20, 25, 30 kids, and get them to do what they're supposed to, you probably have what it takes to like manage customers, a database, and figure out the real estate game. So I'd say that's the type that I'm looking for. Is we've seen tremendous success hiring out of retail, like cell phone salespeople, cell phone retail assistant managers, general managers, things of that nature. You know, that's what we're trying to do. And then you have to hold their feet to the fire for their first 30, 60, 90 days. Because if they show up and they're just a sloppy salesperson in their first 2 weeks, their first month, like, they're not going to make it in this real estate industry the way that it is. And it's probably people that you don't want to pour a lot of energy into. Now, on the staff side, I am a huge fan of what I call emerging talent. So there's potential talent, emerging talent, and established talent. I prefer to hire in the middle, meaning somebody has shown some base competency, they've shown some base success in a career path that's similar to what they would be doing in real estate on our team, and yet they haven't necessarily mastered it. I'm looking for people with a chip on their shoulder that have something to prove. Like, you always want to hire employees that have something to prove to themselves or somebody else, because they're willing to work harder than people that are just coming in for a job to get a paycheck. Think Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan didn't even make his varsity basketball team when he was a sophomore or junior, and, you know, became the greatest basketball player of all time. So did somebody tell them no and then they went and proved them wrong? That's who we want in our organization, is people that are willing to do what it takes to prove themselves. Yeah, social media and being you. You know, this is something that, you know, I struggle with. I thought I had to be this perfect image for every potential client type, right? Like, I had to be a liberal for liberals, a Republican for Republicans, Bucks fan for Bucks fans, a Patriots fan for Patriots fans. Like, and you don't. Like, you have to be yourself. Obviously, you don't want to offend other people, but people really respect organic conversations. People really respect genuine humans, right? Even if you have a differing opinion. And not being scared to be you, because again, who is Jeff Borham? I'm a cool nerd who's very driven and wants to sell a lot of real estate and help a lot of people. Be yourself, be authentic, show that you know what you're talking about, and then have fun. Like, who are you? Like, what's cool is if you're open to it, like in 2024, you can document your life. Like, you can show the world what you're doing. You can say, hey, this is me, this is what I'm about. Do you want to be a part of that? And you're going to attract the right people into your life, the right clients, the right coworkers, the right referral partners, and you're going to enjoy it a lot more than putting up these images and thinking that you need to be something for everybody else versus just being the best you can be. I never had a fear of the camera. I did have a fear of public speaking. Oh my goodness. So I'll tell you now, I've spoken in front of 5,000 people presenting real estate information, trainings, panels, things of that nature. No issue whatsoever, because I'm confident talking about real estate. You go back to 2012, 2013, I was attempting to get into BNI groups, which is like a networking group. There'd be like 40, 50 people in the room, and you do a pitch for 30 seconds and you just say who you are, what you're looking for. I mean, my voice would crack, my eyes would water, like speaking in front of 40, 50 people. I mean, I'm literally, my eyes are watering, and now I can walk out on a stage right now in front of 5,000 people and rock out an amazing training. The way I got over public speaking was just doing it. Like, you know, that's how I do it. I just get comfortable with it, you know. So if you're uncomfortable doing something, do it, and guess what, you're going to become more comfortable. So there's actually somebody on my team right now that's like, oh, I hate being on camera, blah blah blah. You know what I made her do? I said, you're going to send me a 30-second to a 1-minute recap video of what you did today, and you have to send it to me at the end of the workday every day. And I'm telling you, after just 2 weeks of her sending me a quick video of what she did and how the day went, if you compared the first day to the last day, she's a different person in front of the camera. And it took her 2 weeks to really get better. And, you know, while she may not want to be on the camera all the time, she now can be. Like, she's over it. She seems way more natural. So that's my advice. Just do it. Yeah, wins in real estate, it's just so memorable the first time. Well, for me, the first time I bought a house, I mean, I was only 19 years old, so I just thought that was amazing. I thought that was super cool. I didn't even realize I could do it. And then, getting into real estate, and that first time I helped someone write a letter of intent to purchase a condo, I mean, I was beaming. I think I grilled myself a steak that night. I was so proud of myself for that first letter of intent. And then, getting my real estate license was awesome. Becoming a full salesperson was a big deal to me because I was originally hired as a sales assistant. And, and then you fast forward a few years, I sold, my best friend was the first general real estate sale I ever did. And I just thought it was the coolest thing that he trusted me. And then because of that, I was able to get business from our whole friend circle, because then people were like, wow, like Jeff actually knows what he's doing, because this is general real estate and I'd never been in it. And then you just fast forward. I mean, the first time my team sold over 100 properties was 2016, and I just thought that meant you made it. If you could sell 100 properties in 1 year, you were a big agent. And I did that in 2016. We sold 126 homes. And then really from there, now it's almost more just like seeing my agents succeed, right? Because working hard, implementing what they know, just makes me beam like a proud father.